think we'll start, and anyone who comes in a little bit afterwards, they can catch up with us. So first of all, welcome to our webinar. And our goal here is to help you get your 2025 internet plan in place so that you can maximize your lead flow and maximize the number of projects and your revenue and meet those targets next year. So that's the goal for today. Let's see. So what is the plan for today? So it's going to be interactive. So as I had mentioned, there are in the chat a couple of sheets you might want to download. When you download them, it's going to ask you to make a copy because you want to have your own copy so that you can work on your own copy. So that would be something you want to do as well. But we're going to actually be working with those, and then you will have them to work throughout the year with and for next year as well to work through those. So we're going to get those goals, get those clear goals and targets down so you're ready to really hit it off right in 2025. We're going to realign your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Make sure that you have those down, exactly what you're looking to track, and then make sure that you track them. So that's going to be another one of our goals. And then we're going to map out that plan for you to meet and get that accomplishment that you want. So we're going to look at your budget. Here we go. The budget. So we're going to say, okay, this is what your budget should be. This is what you can afford and work from there. Then we're going to say, well, now that we have a budget, we have X number of dollars to spend every month. Where should we spend that? Should it be on online marketing, offline marketing? If it's on online, what types of things should we spend it on? So we're going to talk about that. And then talk about some important trends as well. So we're probably going to we'll hit that in the beginning, and then we'll come back and we'll kind of talk about them as we get through the webinar as well. But it's really important to see what's new and what's changing in your internet marketing to make sure you're aware of that. And all of that's done so that we set you up for massive success in 2025 and beyond. We'll start this year and then we'll go from there. So one of the things I want to tell you is that you can go anything that you're missing or any questions after this, just go to www.remodelersmarketingcrew.com and there'll be a place to schedule. There'll be emails to get in touch with us. So any questions you have, if we don't answer them today, you can do that. But as we move on, please put questions into the chat, and I will go back every once in a while and check that. See if I can pull that up over here. Yep, there it is. So I'll be presenting, but I'll be also checking, and I have an assistant here to help me too. So as questions come up, put them in the chat, and we will definitely get to those as well. Okay. So who are we as a team? We're a team. One of the really unique things about us is that we only work with remodelers, deck builders, general contractors, basically home improvement services. And we have people on the team that do all of the different parts. So we have people that literally all day just do SEO on page, do SEO off page, do just build websites, just write the content, just edit the content, and so forth. So we have a full team, has been with me for years. And this is actually only part of the team right here. And our goal, our mission, as it says right here, is to triple the sales of 1,000 remodeling companies. To date, we've increased the sales of well over 50 remodeling companies, remodeling general contractors, home improvement companies. We've done that more than that in our first business, but then when we niche down and just did remodeling, that's where we are now with remodeling. So we've worked with dozens of companies all over the country. So these are people, this is like in Albuquerque, this is in northern Massachusetts, California, southern Massachusetts, Connecticut, all over the country. We have practically, I don't think we have every state yet, but we're working there. So one of the things I want to say is when I'm talking to you about these things today and in future months, because I'm going to be doing future webinars, we're not talking from theory. We're talking from experience, years of experience that we can give you these data. So when we're giving this data and giving you recommendations, we're talking from experience, from a team with experience. And then me, who am I and why should you listen to me? So first of all, I've had 10 years of experience in the remodeling business. We did start with it's called Small Biz Doctors, our first business that we did with all different small businesses, but realized how good we were with remodelers, and that's why our focus is there. Again, as I mentioned, we have over 50 remodeling businesses that we have increased their revenue. I'm also the author of Stop Wasting Your Money, a remodeler's no BS guide to digital marketing that actually works. That is in the editing stage right now. So hopefully we'll have it published in, it could be early spring, but I'm going to just say late spring to be sure. I've spoken at industry events. I'm really widely accepted as a expert in internet marketing for the remodeling industry. And I work, as I mentioned before, with remodeling businesses all across the United States. One kind of interesting thing or different, and people always ask me kind of, how did you get into this business anyway? Is I have a doctorate in business administration. I've taught finance, marketing, and entrepreneurship for years. And I was the director of the Entrepreneurship Center at the university I worked at. And what happened at that point is we would work with the Small Business Administration, and we would go out and help small businesses develop a business plan and then try to help them implement a few things that would help them. And almost always, like literally 99% of the time, they needed some help with their internet marketing, which was great. But what would happen is this was a semester, it's a university, and they'd be at the end and they'd be contacting me, now, well, now what do I do with my internet marketing? So I kind of started following up with them, and thus the business was born. And as I mentioned, we realized that we really enjoyed the remodeling industry and that we were really good at it and that we could do a better job if we really understood one industry better. And so that's why we changed our company. We still have some clients back at the Small Biz Doctors, but we really now only are focusing on new clients and new remodelers marketing crew. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's get your marketing plan. First of all, what are the trends that are going on? Well, AI is a huge trend, right? So before we could always just say 85% plus searches are on Google. That's all we really mostly have to worry about. But right now, ChatGPT is being baked into Bing results. And a lot of people aren't just searching on Google anymore. I actually use Perplexity and sometimes Claude along with ChatGPT to do some searches. This is starting to happen more and more with people. And the more this evolves, the more we need to look at it because we want to make sure that we rank everywhere people are searching. So something to really be watching. Online scheduling. Clients do prefer if they can just not really talk to somebody and just schedule something online. We're working more and more on that, and this will be one of our future webinars on using AI and online scheduling as well, which is also talking about the two-way text messaging. A lot of clients prefer to text versus call. You want to make sure that you're set up so that you can also text back and forth with your clients as well, and then get back to them right away with automations, which we'll be talking about a lot today. AI follow-up with the two-way texting, again, automations. We're working very strongly, really heavily trying to figure out a good voice receptionist, and it probably will be very soon. But right now, it's a huge amount of training to get them to be good because we all know nobody gets more frustrated than coming to a website and talking to what you know is a robot. So we don't want that. So, but we do want to make sure we have the two-way messaging, automations put in, and as we work on perfecting the AI receptionist. Then authentic video content. This I just talked to my clients about that they probably could tell you that I have them, right? I can't tell you how much more people just believe an authentic, honest video from people just makes such a difference. And then they start to see you everywhere. And one of our goals as a marketing company is to get you seen everywhere. It's omnipresent model. And so one of those is videos. And again, one of our future webinars, we're going to talk about testimonials, reputation management, and case studies, and what you can do with a case study and pictures and videos, as it makes, I can tell you time after time, the client that will do it and the client that won't, the ones that do much, much better results. So if you're looking at how to do that, definitely follow us in the future. It'll be probably 2 or 3 months, we'll be having that one. And then useful content. So 2 things have happened with AI. People can push out tons and tons of pages of content, right? And so we have to put out more content because we have to keep up with competition. But also what's happened is Google has a new algorithm that's looking for what they call useful content, okay? So we have to make sure that the content we put out there is considered useful to Google. And by useful, they are looking, is it useful to the visitor, right? Are they coming to your website to find out what's the best kitchen design? And are you going to be good at performing that kitchen and putting that kitchen into their home? They want to see that you can answer those questions that someone's asking. So it's really important to have more content that's useful. Combination. You don't want to just push out a bunch of AI content that doesn't sound good. both. So that's something that you may think about as you're producing content. So let's set some clear goals. So one of the people that I've always admired here is Brian Tracy, who says, you know, success is goals, all else is commentary, right? We need to have the goals, right? And the other thing I'm going to ask you to do, so if you have goals, right? If you don't have any goals, you have no wind in your sails, you don't want to know. So you don't know where you're going. That's kind of an analogy to it. Where here, say now, I got the wind on my sails and I'm aiming for this point way over here, and I'm going to get there. Okay. So this is the part where I'd like you to link to your planning worksheet. Okay, so this is going to come up, and when it does pop up, it's going to tell you to make a copy. Go. And this is because one of the other things about goals, and I've studied this for years. So I told you I was a professor. I used to teach personal finance, and I actually did many conferences for outside of just the university, talking about personal finance. And one of the things we'd say is people set their goals in personal finance, and then what happens? They don't follow it. Because an example, you know, you get $1,000 bonus, and you know, you just had a big payout from one of the projects you do, and you're like, okay, you've got a couple of choices. Consume it now, or do I save it? And so what do we say is you've got to have the values behind it. And we'll talk about the why in a minute. Because if you're saying, if your values are, for example, oh, I really want to save to put my kid into a good school. Now you've got a reason to not consume it now. I really want to save because I want to retire by 60 and I want to really travel at that point. Okay, now you've got a reason to not spend that money now, but to use it. So your why is really important. So I want to capture this in writing. And then the third thing, actually, well, while we're talking about it, that is always good. So they say, if you just have a goal, that's great. If you write it down, you're much more likely to get it accomplished. The next step is telling other people about it. So go ahead, after we have this seminar, go back to your team, go back to your wife or your family, go back to whoever you may want to talk to and say, these are my goals next year. Because it has been proven study after study. If you say that, you're basically holding yourself accountable by just saying it to someone else out loud. So I also encourage you to do that as well. So here's where the objectives, so you have it, but here's where I want you to write this in. So we have this down where we're going. So write down right now, what is your average monthly revenue? And believe me, I know you're going to be all over the place. So some of you may be at 10,000 a month, some of you may be at 4,000 a month, excuse me, 4 million a month, 400,000 a month, all over the place. No judgment. Please just write it down so we know. So you kind of know, here I am. That's what I'm doing now. Okay. Then based off that, also know what are the typical number of projects you do every month. And I know it can vary. Sometimes you'll get a month with a bunch of small ones. Sometimes you have one big one that's a whole month. But think about how many projects did you do this year? Divide that by 12. That will give you kind of an idea of your monthly. Then what is the projected revenue for each project? Again, I know many of you can vary all over the place from, yeah, I took a few small $10,000 jobs to I have clients that literally will not do a job that's under 75,000 or something like that. So everyone's going to be different. But if you looked at an average, so you say, hey, most of my jobs are between 40 and 80,000, then you might say your average is 60. Okay. Then what's your lead conversion? So if you have 10 leads that come in, how many do you close? Right? If you close 3, then it's 30%. So, and this is something that if you don't have now, it's one of those KPIs you should be tracking. So, but if you don't have it right now, use what your gut feeling is. We all have a gut for what we do for the leads closing, but you should really track it. And then what's the number of crew? So how many crew? Some people, instead of crews, say employees. Some say, you guys, a lot of people, contractors, you use subcontractors, but where are you now? Okay. And then the next thing is, where do you want to be? Okay. So you're going to have write down your annual revenue. So where do I want to go? So if you were at maybe 500,000 last year, do you want to go to 1 million? If you're 1 million last year, do you want to go to 1.5 or maybe even stretch it and go to 2 million? So what is that? And then to do that, so a lot of times it's great. Hey, yeah, I want to double my my revenue, which is great, but you're going to need things to do that. And I only wrote number of crew. You might also you might expand on this. You might say new equipment that I would need, new people in the office that I might need. So think about that. We're trying to get this done in less than an hour. So I won't go into a big deal, but how would my company look if my revenue was twice as much as I had right now? How many more people would I be involved? And then this key that I was talking about here, why? Why do I want to go from $1 million to 2 million? Right? Is it just to say I have a $2 million business? Or is it because I want to retire? Do I want to pass this business on to another family member? Do I want more freedom? What is it that you want? And write it down. It's really key, because it locks it in, it gives your values, it really gives you a reason to move forward. Okay. Then we're going to come back to this into the spreadsheet. So let's go back in here to the slides. And so we're linking, we've written all this down. And now we're going to go, so now we're going to go to putting some numbers into the worksheet. So let's link to the worksheet. And that there was, it's opening that up, but let me show you in here, in case, again, there's links in the chat, but also if you just had the planning workbook, you could click right here and that will also open up to the worksheet. Okay. Now I need to make a copy. But again, you want your own copy so you can put your own numbers in it and then you can keep it and use this. So this was just happened to be the last individual I was dealing with. We're looking to whose annual goal next year is $3 million. Okay, so I'll tell you how it works and then you put in your own numbers. So put in what's here. What do I want? So if it's half, if you're at 300,000 and you want to get to 600,000, put that in. If you're at 600,000, you want to get to $1 million, put that there. Then this is just basically a simple math. It's going to divide it by 12. So if you were looking to get to 3 million, you would need to do 250,000 a month. Okay. Then look at what is your average revenue. We looked at that before. So this particular person that I was talking with when I did this for them, they had their average job was 50,000 a month. So great, we're there. So now what do we know? Well, if I have $50,000 jobs and I need 250, I have to do 5 of them. So that's one of the things you want to actually write down in your planning book too. What do I need to get my goal? That's another thing. I need to have 5 $50,000 jobs a month. So write that down in there as well. Okay. Then this comes into what is your conversion? Okay. So if I convert, this person was talking 25%. So out of every 10 leads, they close 2.5 at 25%. So we know that if they need 5 jobs, they need 20 leads, because they'll close 25% of those. That would give them 5 jobs at $50,000, 250. Do that every month, then you'll have your $3 million target. Okay. Then another thing we're going to talk about is what is your average cost per lead? Now, some of you may know that already. If not, we're going to talk about how to calculate it today, and so that you can keep tracking that. So we looked at someone that would be looking at remodeling, that would be looking for around $50,000 jobs on average. And from our experience, your average cost per lead would be about $225 a lead. So if you needed 20 of them, 25 to 225, that leaves you to $4,500 that you should be spending per month to get that. Okay. So that's what this sheet is for. Now there's another sheet that's going to come up another slide. So while I'm here, I'm going to just go back to it. And this is how do we allocate that money? Okay. So again, we're starting with whatever your target projection is. So that's what you're going to put in here. A million. If it's 500,000, it's 500,000. If it's 10 million, it's 10. This is one you're going to have to think about a little bit. Okay. So as a rule of thumb, we try to get people to spend about 6% for your kind of average growth. Okay. If you really want to have aggressive growth, we look to spend 10 to 12% of your revenue on marketing. And if you want to be conservative, just kind of maintain. So we're not looking for really growth, but we're looking to maintain the jobs that you have. That would be about 3%. So for this example, I use 6 because that's kind of the rule of thumb in there. So that would mean that you should be spending about $15,000 a month on marketing, right? Then another key thing is all of your money should not be on online marketing. Okay? You would have other places to spend your money. So we do think that a lot of it should be spent on online marketing. So in this example, I use 70% for the online marketing. Now offline, right? So this might be direct mail. This might be a billboard, a magazine article, signage, things like that that you do would be offline. we put 20% there, and then repeat business. So the easiest business to get is repeat business or referrals. So kind of put those together. So what are you going to do to those current really great clients to get them? Are we going to reach out to them? Are we going to talk to them? Are we going to send them a gift? So that's what we're talking about there. So then we talk about, so that brings us down to out of the 15,000, they'd say 10,000 a month would be on online marketing. And then how do we allocate the online marketing? Okay. So this particular person had been in business for a while. He's already got a pretty good website up and going. So we said, well, we want to maintain, maybe get that a little bit better, make sure we stay on page one. So we put 35% there, 50% on your paid ads, and then 10% on display and retargeting. So going back and putting pixels, doing some Facebook ads, and going back to the people that have already been to your website or looked at your reels and so forth. So now, and so that works out, close to 4,000 a month on SEO, about a little over 5,000 on PPC, and just about 1,000 a month on display targeting. Now, let's say you were a smaller company. Let's say you're aiming to get into the 500,000. Okay. And you got the 6%. Well, if we got down to the same thing here, right? We're like, you're not going to do much to start your website on that little bit of money. So we might say, I think 80% should be here. And whoops, 80. And only 10%. I might even say 0 in the beginning, but we'll put 10. But because if you don't have enough money to spend on PPC, it might not do you anything. So I might have just said 90. I might have actually, I think my recommendation would probably be 90 and wait on paid. But we could do some in the local service ads. But that's how we would play with it. So here you're talking around 1,500 a month to get up there. So now you're a year later, say, and now you're looking to get to 1 million. Right? And you're still sticking at the 6%, but now, right, your monthly is up at 5,000. And your website's doing pretty well. So you say, hey, I think I could put some into paid ads. So maybe we'll now take that down to the 70, right? And then put the other 20 into the paid ads. So now we have a decent budget to put into your paid ads. So we're still maintaining we're doing actually spending more than we were on SEO before. So we're still maintaining and improving our website, our Google Business Profile, and so forth, all of that. But now we're spending some money on leads as well. And that might, again, next time we're saying, oh, now we want 1.1 million. We might do a little less SEO and a little more PPC. So that's how this sheet works. And that's how you can decide through there. And we'd be glad. One of the other things we offer is free one-on-one consultation to talk to you and say, based off what we know, this is what we would suggest for you. And then you could decide where you want to get that done. And I also want to tell you right here, there's a little video. So if you pick this up in a month from now and you're like, oh, how did that worksheet work again? There's a video that shows you how to do that too. Okay, so let's go back to the slides here. All right, so we've gone over this, you've gotten the template. Again, we're talking about the goals. We asked you to write down from what your calculation was, how many leads do you need a month to get there? And then we've looked at this template as well. Okay. So now let's talk about the strategy. So I've used this thing called the accelerated growth model for years. I got introduced to me and a coach that was helping me grow my company. And so we've been using this for years and it works. So what is the accelerated growth model? Well, we've got kind of 3 things that we need to do. We need to drive leads, right? You've got to get leads to come to you. You've got to get your phone ringing. That's what's got to happen, right? Then once we get those leads, we don't want to lose them, right? I can give you 20, 30, 40 leads a month, but if you don't convert them, they're no use to you. So we want to have our maximum conversion, right? So we talked about in that last example, somebody having a 25% conversion. Imagine what it would change if you could do a 50% conversion, right? So you would need half as many leads, right? Because you'd be converting better. So really important there. And then optimize your results. You're investing to make this happen. Even if you're investing your own time and doing it on your own, you're investing time. And if you're using ads, you're automatically investing ad spend. So how can we optimize the results from your investment in marketing? Okay, so let's do it one by one, driving leads. Where's the first place we're going to start? Organic SEO. That's going to be your starting place. Okay, so here's a list, and this is really mainly for your benefit, and you'll have some of that in your marketing plan as well. And We're going to repeat this seminar in early January, and then the next seminar that we do will be on SEO. So how do we make your website optimized? And there will be a whole seminar on that to follow back. But obviously, we need to have everything on page perfect. We want to have service pages by your location, your main cities. We want to make your Google business profile, have that absolutely optimized, make sure all of your reviews are getting in, which again is reputation management, which we'll help you with. Automation helps there as well. We want to get that content. We're going to be writing a lot of content. We don't just want to sit it on your website. We want to push it out in syndications and signals. So we want to signal, we want to make sure that we get the visitors are happy, but we also need to signal Google, because Google's the one who decides when you show up there. Well, we also want to be watching what AI is doing. So we want to do backlinks. We want to make sure that Google listing is up to date and multiple map embedments and fresh content, which again, we would syndicate. So all of those things we'll talk about in future webinars, but all of these have to be done on your organic, okay? Not sure. Oops, there we go. So why is organic that's really important? So this is a client of ours. They've actually been with us a few months at this point. So right now they're getting organic calls and map calls, right? Of 15 and 18. The pay-per-clicks, budget's fairly low, but it's getting about 12 in here and then some web forms here. So from that to 53 leads a month that he's getting, and we'll talk about how we calculate his total cost per lead and later on in the webinar. But what the outstanding thing is, 62% of this is from organic SEO, right? So you don't want to miss out on organic SEO. Right? The next thing is paid search. So this should be kind of your foundation. People always kind of say, what order should I do this in? There's so many things to choose from when I'm doing internet marketing. What's the order? Our recommendation is a really solid organic foundation, right? Get your website being found on page one, get your Google business profile, have your social medias up there, right? So we're posting on Instagram, we're posting on Facebook, we're getting your website on page one, your Google business profile on the backpack, the first top 3 that are in there, okay? Then as you grow, you're getting more leads, you're getting more revenue, we have some more money to spend on marketing. Then we go into the paid search and the Google local service ads, okay? Google, the ones we recommend most are Google and then paid search, the local service ads. So that would be your next step. We get this going. And then the thing about this too is we can both of these two, to a degree, we can turn them on and off, right? So here, organic, it's always working for us. So we want that to be our baseline. We always have that website up, it's always there. But maybe we have times that it's a little bit of a slow period. And we know we're finishing up a couple of jobs and we need some more. We could turn on our Google ads and our local service ads and get some more in. And then, hey, we're 4 months booked out. We need to turn those off again, okay? Then the next thing we'd have is like the paid directories like Yelp and Houzz and those that you might be listed on. Again, I know a lot of contractors are always like, oh, I hate them. We could at least get listed on them. And then sometimes, again, we could do Angie's leads, Houzz. Some contractors will have good success, some not such good success. Again, though, it's something you can turn on and off. And I would always put that towards the top of the pyramid. And at the very top of the pyramid, we have social. So we'd be doing Facebook ads, TikTok ads, YouTube ads. And why do we put this at the top? Because here, people aren't looking for you. It's popping up. But if we do good retargeting, so we put pixels on the website, and in our social media, we put pixels and follow what's there. And then if we can target people that have visited the website or watched our social media reels with our Facebook ads or our YouTube ads or Instagram ads, we're much more likely to get the right people. And then we see the people that have watched the Facebook ads and we retarget them again. But because these aren't people that actually are on Facebook typing in, I'm looking for a kitchen remodeler, that's why we have it top of pyramid. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So why do most pay-per-click campaigns fail, right? A lot of them fail. It's because what happens is people try to set up one ad group for a bunch of things. I'm going to set it up for house remodeling and kitchen remodeling and bathroom remodeling with one ad group, and they're using one landing page. Okay. It's just never going to work, right? So we're going to pick one. We're going to do kitchen remodeling, and we're going to bring it to a landing page that specifically is converting someone who's looking for kitchen remodeling. We don't want to put everything here because like it won't even show half the time on your Google ads. But if you have a kitchen remodeling ad and you bring them to a page that has everything on it, people are like, I don't even know what to do, and they go to the next thing, right? And so again, we want to use specific text ads and landing pages for that. So, and offers. That's really, it really works better if you also have an offer. So I'm doing a Google ad just on kitchens, going to the right landing page, and I'm offering $100 off, $1,000 off, whatever it may be that you want to offer. Okay. So here's an example of one of my clients that recently started a PPC. This was the one I was talking about earlier that had 15 leads from PPC. So not a huge budget, $2,700 in the budget. Their lead cost was about $180 in there. But what happened? So we got 15 leads. His conversion rate, he closes about 30% of his leads. So the 15 times the 30 leads, that gave him on average 4.5 projects that were booked. If you've got that 4.5 projects that are booked times the revenue, then you're going to get, I think that's off a little bit on the revenue. I think we must have miscalculated that one because 4.5, your average revenue, we're missing one line here. So your average revenue per project is 35. Okay, so we're missing a line. I don't think I can edit my slides right in there. Whoops, let's just go back. So let me talk you through this. So we got 4.5 projects that are booked, an average of 35,000 for this particular client. So 4.5 times 35,000 would give you 157,500 in revenue for the whole for that month. Okay. Now we would divide that 157,500 by the investment. So that's your total investment. So that's the ad spend and the management fee. So 2,700. That would be 58 times your revenue. So pretty good return we're getting on this revenue here. And we'll fix that slide and get that revenue up. Okay. So the next one, and this is probably the one that most of you are least taking advantage of, is database. So lots of you have old lists and lists of emails and texts from old clients. If we could take that and we could reach back out to them and make them an offer, we're more likely to close them. So I wanted to give you an example. This is a company, Elevator Builders, that we work with. And so we asked them if they had that, and they gave us a list of just over 1,000. And we reached out to those people with a couple of offers. So, we didn't send out 1,000 overnight. We do like 50 a day. So it took a little while to get these all out. But over time, we got 60 replies back that, yes, they were interested. Followed up with those 60 replies, and out of that, booked 11 jobs, which generated $345,000 in revenue. So that's just from an old list. So it's really important to take those old lists and get in touch with people. And with automation, we can make it that much easier for you to do. Okay. So here's where we see our red light, a yellow light, green light. What does that mean? So what we want is I know I've gone to so many seminars in my life, and you will go up and like, that was really great. And then a week later, you've totally forgotten about it. So what we want you to do here is rate where you are on these. So if you're doing terrific, I'm doing great on my organic search, that's a green. To say, hey, my paid, we're doing a little bit, we're not getting great results. That might be a yellow. And then what about your database? Well, we have this database, but we've done nothing with it, right? That would be a red. Okay. So do you have any green, reds, or yellow? So take a second and look at that and see, where would you rate yourself? And there's a place in the book here. I think I mentioned it before. So here we're going to do that. That's just all the services that we offer. Here it is. So go into here. We're going to get to these in a minute. But right here, rank yourself with organic, paid, and database under driving leads. Okay. Oops. Back to the slides. All right. So again, just rate yourself there. All right. So now we've got the leads. We're driving the leads in. We want to maximize their conversion. The first place, a lot of your leads are coming, they're going to the website. So, and that's one thing. Yeah, we're driving them there with organic search. But then they get there, we want them to make the next move. Fill out that form, make that phone call, right? We want them to make sure, text you, book online, however you have it set up. We want that website to convert them into an actual lead, because just visiting your website doesn't make them a lead yet, right? Okay. So again, this is going to be in our next webinar, probably be in early February. We're going to talk all about converting websites. But this is something that you can read through and you'll have available to you, cool things, right? Make sure you know who you're talking to and then talk to them. Be real, authentic. Pictures are just so key here. Videos we've talked about. Social leverage, showcase what you've done on your homepage. And we're going to talk about doing case studies, right? Think about a project that was really interesting. There was so many obstacles to overcome to make this look great. And think about if you had that on video. You showed them, here's where it was, here's the obstacles. Now, maybe it's a 4-week project. 1 weekend, here's how it's going. Another weekend, here's how it's going. End of project, here's how we overcame and look what it looks like. Imagine what that would do if that was on your website, right? Think about that. And then, of course, have the basics. You got to have your phone number in the upper right corner. It's got to be clickable. You've got to have web forms they can fill out, any credibility, symbols that are on there, all of that, and clear call to actions. It's amazing to me how many times I'll look at someone's webinar, someone's website, and I don't even know how to get in touch with them. I can't find a phone number. And a clickable phone number is key also because most people are searching on their phone now. So they want to just click that number and have it called. They don't want to have to write it down and figure it out and put it back in. So really easy things. Other things, offers, coupons, really big. We just talked about mobile optimized, live chats, as long as you're going to answer them, right? Booking online, speed. Make sure your website is speed. All of our team, the website developers, every single day, they're checking speed on our websites because it matters so much. And then again, engaging in marketing automations. Okay. So these are just a couple of examples, a couple of the websites that we've done. So this is at Zappa Deck in Ontario, I think they're in the 30+ leads. Just talked to this client the other day, so just couldn't be happier with the results. But look, right, we've got the phone, we've got the email us, we've got our Facebook, our YouTube, we've got going to our Google Business Profile, again, the phone, another phone here. And if you go to this website and look at it, which you're welcome to do, scroll down. Oops, I will scroll to the next slide. But these will follow you all the way down. So you're never going to have a place that you don't know how to get in touch with it, right? That call to action is always there. And right below here, right down in there, it's going to show your form as well. And then here's another one, Dogwood Remodeling. So that's another one that's in Connecticut, but looks similar, right? And we always have name of the company, what do they do, where do they do it, right? That's for the client and for Google. This is their homepage. We want to write off, that's our H1 heading, and we want to tell them who we are, what we do, where we do it. That's what Google needs to know. They're not confused at all here, right? And so no wonder this is popping up #1, right? And keep track of your website performance. So whoever you work with, or if you're doing it yourself, keep track of it, right? Is that views going up, your sessions going up, your users, new users, engaged sessions? Are your keywords going up? Average position, the organic traffic, the impressions, and this is just telling us which channels they're coming from, organic, direct, and so forth. And the keywords, you want to have some keywords that are branded, but you want to have a lot that aren't. Because if it's branded, by branding, I mean the name of your company. So for example, this one, the name of the company is Hancock Renovation, but the URL is South Shore Home Remodel. So yeah, we do rank for Hancock Renovation, but the key, if someone already knows us, they're going to find us anyway, even if our website's crappy. So, but we wanted them Kitchen Remodel South Shore, Kitchen Remodel Quincy, Mass, which is their headquarters, Kitchen Remodel near me, best kitchen remodelers, right? Those are the keywords that we rank for on page 1. Okay, that's how we get there. That's what you need to focus on, those keywords. And you could get a keyword list from us as well. We can get it to you for remodelers in general, or we could do one specifically for you if you schedule a time with us. And Google Business Performance is so important. When this is the Hancock renovations again, and look at all the click to calls, the impressions that are coming in. And this is a heat map. It'll tell you where they rank. And what was the keyword here? Oh, South Shore Home Remodel is the keyword, and how we rank. That's about a 35 by 30 mile radius. That almost everywhere we're ranking 1, 2, and 3. We got a couple of little 4s down here, but their headquarters, the address of this Google Business Profile is right here. They don't want to go into Boston because traffic, so we're aiming this direction. But your Google Business Profile address is kind of like this antenna that's up here. and you have to work to get it to go other places. So that's one of the things that we have done with here. And you see, they've got 95% in the top 3 positions. And right now we're number 2, but we're working at number 1, and we've been number 1. Okay, so optimize for conversions. Do you have the form? Are we having a bunch of places where they can reach out to us? And you can look at the Grand Finishing Inks contact us page to get an idea of how to do it. Videos, talked about it a lot. Here's the videos of what their work is, their before and after pictures, really key, really builds trust. Social proof. We want to have these testimonials on here, and you want to show here's repair before and afters, and then here's videos of what we've done. So social proof is key. And get the fundamentals right. Make sure everything is right, that your heading here is in order, that you have all of your services, you've got your service areas listed, your blogs, your call to actions everywhere, why they should hire you, all the pictures are labeled correctly. Everything SEO-wise is perfect, because that's going to make it clean and easy for Google's robots to get through. Okay. So this is an example with the Zapodeck. We're having a good, clean, easy website that converts. So we have about 456 visitors per month. Actually, this was exactly that last month. 30 leads came in for that. And so far over the last 12 months, they've done 1.2 million in revenue from working with us. So this is the client I just talked to, having a great, I couldn't be happier. There's another example of Dogwood Remodeling. They're only in 18 months with us. We actually did a deck site with him, and then he said, hey, we're doing so great. Let's do a remodeling site. So this one's only 18 months old. We've got 103 visitors per month, 12 leads, 75,000 is all this guy will take. So we use that as an average, and he's already done 1.8 million in revenue. So we're really getting him the big jobs. So 12 leads a month. He's only doing about 3 jobs a month on this one, but he's doing big jobs, 2 to 3 jobs a month. Okay, what's next? Reputation. Okay, so we know what happens. Somebody might call you. First of all, they might not even call you unless they've seen reviews and testimonials and case studies. But even if they do call you, then they may go back and check on reviews. So it's very important to get the reviews. These are all different ways, and we can help you get reviews too. We have different NFC cards that we use. We have automation follow-ups that we use, and you may already be using some with other companies. The important thing is do it. Right? We can help you, or these companies can help you, but get your reviews, get them on there, and get them being shown. It is so important. And again, we will have another webinar just on getting reviews. Here's an example of some of the companies with the reviews that are doing well. Here's another example here of how we would break down the leads and figure out the average cost per lead here. So this company was a South Shore deck. We had that 61 calls from organic PPC, the Google Business Profile, and your forms. And then from that, we looked, what is the total investment? So before we were looking at it with just PPC and the fee for that. This is the total investment. So your SEO, anything that you would be paying to the marketing company to do, right? So 3,750, you divide the 61 in, that's how you're going to get your average lead per cost. So we talked about that earlier, and having it, and every company is going to be a little bit different. And your goal then over time would be possibly to get this lower, but certainly not to get it higher, right? And unless you're getting higher quality, you find, hey, it's costing me a little bit more, but instead of this guy's a deck guy, right? Instead of doing $20,000 decks, I'm doing $40,000 decks. Well, then it's worth it, right? So we've got to add that, figure that in as well. Okay, and then automation. Again, that kind of goes back to the data databases a little bit, but one of the things that people least tend to use. So is lead flow really the problem, right? We're getting leads that are coming in from all these different ways: SEO, Google search ads, Facebook, website, right? All the ads are coming in, right? But here's the problem. We find that 50% to 60% of inbound leads are not converted, and 90% of forms never convert. The reason being with a lot of these, right, is that people aren't following up. So we find that leads that aren't followed up within 15 minutes go cold. And the average customer also needs to be touched 5 to 7 times. So they might just say, oh, I'm not really ready right now. Well, they might be ready in a week. They might be ready in a month. We want to keep following up with them and saying, well, what is your time frame? Where are you going? Why is it holding you back? What other information do you need to make this decision? Keep touching them. And then also, again, thinking about they're preferring to text versus phone call or email. So lots of focus on that as well. So what do we do for a solution? We're going to leverage marketing automation. We're going to follow up with the forms. The second that a form goes out, you're a salesperson, whoever you're designating to get that. With us, they get an automatic, here, you've got this form, right? Instead of waiting till you get back to the office, and like, oh yeah, I guess I'll check my emails. Oh yeah, look, a couple of forms came in, right? That could be hours later. What if you got it right away? And also the customer gets it. We've got your form. We'll be back to you within a couple of hours. We'll be back to you, whatever you want to put on that form. We'll get back to you right away. And then following up again, hey, we have an appointment. We're just reminding you, we have an appointment at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's making sure everything's still good with that. All that would be set. You don't have to remember it. It's all going to be set in automations. And if someone said, hey, I need to change the appointment, you're going to get notified. So all of these automations will help you convert. So now it's time, rate yourself again, right? So we're driving the leads. We're going to use our website, our reputation, and our automation to maximize these conversions. So what are you doing best here, right? So maybe like, hey, I got automation down, but I'm not really working on my reputation. My website could use some work. Or I'm killing it on my website, but I haven't done anything to get views. I got to work on it. So again, go back to your plan here and mark in here. Where are you? Because at the end, we're going to say, which things should we work on next, right? That's the goal. We know now what your revenue goal is, how many leads you need, what your budget should be, and where should you put that money? What should we be working on? Okay. So mark it there. Now we're going to focus on optimizing your results. So we want to focus on what's your total spend? And we're going to talk about what's the return on that total spend. So we're going to go back to here. Use this spreadsheet. Use a spreadsheet. Use what you need as a profit margin, and work with the spreadsheet and come out with this is the budget I think I can spend totally for my online marketing, and then this is how I want to allocate it right now. So again, the lower your budget, the more you should go towards the SEO. Once you have a good structure in your SEO, your website, your Google Business Profile, your social media is nailed down, start moving over to your PPC and also doing some retargeting at that point. Okay. So we've got the total spend down, and now we're going to work at cost per lead. We need to know that average cost per lead, and it's going to make sense. Okay, so here's just some standards that we found across the board, but it's going to differ for you as well. But it's got to make sense, right? If I'm going to spend $115,000, excuse me, $115, and so let's say I've got to do 4 of those to get one job because I only closed 25%. So I'm going to spend 115 times 4, right? So $460 for those 4 leads, but I get a $50,000 kitchen from that, right? I think most people would be pretty happy spending only $460 to get a $50,000 kitchen job, right? But if I told you your leads were going to be $5,000 a piece and you needed 4 of them, that's $20,000. Like, well, that doesn't make sense to get a $50,000 kitchen job, right? So you've got to think about what's your cost per lead. Is there ways that we can get it lower? And does it make sense? Does that cost per lead with my conversion make sense for the type of job that it's giving me? So am I getting qualified leads that are giving me the size jobs I want? And if you're getting a bunch of small ones, right? If that's who's calling you, maybe we need to change who we're addressing our marketing to. Okay. So another example here of figuring out the cost per lead, right? You've got add up your total leads, divide those into all of your expenses for that month, and that would give you your average cost per lead. Okay, so hopefully you can get that down. And then the last one is, what's your return on investment, right? We want to know for every dollar that we're putting in, we're getting 3 or 4 out at least, hopefully even more than that. But our goal, at least in the first year, is to get everybody 3 to 5 out the first year and even more than that the second year. Okay, so let's go through an example of calculating this. So if we go back to that same person, they had 59 leads at 25%. That would give them the 13 projects. I think that should be 50. I think that was 53 leads. 25%. Yeah, that is 53 leads because that last slide it's 53, not 59. So that gives you 13 projects. Big deal. The 13 projects, again, we're looking for an average revenue, 50,000. So that would give us our projected. This is what we think we're going to do. We can do it with actual too. Right now, we'll look at projected. 650,000. We divide that on what we expect our expenses to be, how much we're going to invest in marketing next month. That would give us a 95.7 times our return. This guy's doing great in his return. Now we can do the actual as well. The end of the month, we can say, okay, this is the revenue that we got this month from our leads. How much did we spend on the leads? And that will also give you your return on investment. So you want to look for that, and you want to be looking to get at least, this is a very good one, but at least 3-4 times your money. So every dollar in, 3 or 4 are coming back to you, at least in the first year. So this is kind of interesting. All us marketers like this term, right? Half my advertising money is wasted. I'm sorry, spent too and wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half. So that's the thing we're trying to get you to focus on. Knowing where your money's going, that it's not being wasted, and you know your return on investment. Okay. So time to rate yourself again, this time on where are you? Do you know what your total spend is, right? Do you know what your average cost per lead is? And then do you know what your return on investment is? And if you don't, you now know how you're going to track this through the next year. So again, rate yourself in the book for that. So takeaways. So you've now got this list that we did. Let me go back one slide right here. Right? And you've got your greens, yellows, and reds here. Think about it, write down in your book, which out of these, which ones are coming up red that I think will drive the most revenue to my company next year that I want to focus on. And I'm going to talk to somebody about and make sure that works. And what would be second? So maybe your first thing is you're like, you know what? I'm going to get some database and I'm going to get some automation. I'm going to get to these old clients and see how much more business I can drive. So, and take one at a time. So if we take too many goals at once, we get overwhelmed. So take one. Maybe that's the one. Maybe you're talking about, I need to get more reviews and optimize my Google business profile. That'll bring me more. Okay, let's work on that. Work on that for a quarter, 6 months. Get that down, then go back, reevaluate, and do it again. And so we want to plan your focus. Make sure you fill this out. This should be your focus. Now I know what my budget should be, and I know how I'm going to spend it, right? Then we also have in that same worksheet, you'll see there's ideas. So this one's for kitchen, there's one for bath, there's one for new home additions, I believe. And we'll come up with, if you work with us, or I would suggest if you work with someone else, ask them, give me some ideas for my pay-per-click, for my emails, for my social, for my SEO. What kinds of ideas could I come up with? So every month I'm focusing on a new marketing plan. And we also have specials that you could do as well. So the key thing you ask yourself right now is, what would it mean for you, right? If you could double your revenue this year, right? And then double it again next year, so we could triple it. What would that mean for you? How would that change your life? Would you have more free time? Would you be able to spend more time with your kids or your elderly parents? Or would you just be able to pour it back in and grow this business? So think about, if I did these things, because again, we're going back to the goals and the values. If I did this, what would it mean to you? I would go back to the South Shore Deck, who's one of my oldest clients. He started with one crew, right? With one crew. He now has over 7, and I think he's up to a couple $1 million a year. And that's just decks. He used to do full remodeling, but he decided he was getting older. He had some health issues, so he just wanted to do one thing and go into that. And I could give you multiple other examples. I have so many people that have just, I had a guy that literally was working for somebody else, and then we did a deck one for him, and then he wanted to go into remodeling, and now he's got, I think he's got a lot of his family. He's got something like 8 or 9 people working for him, and it's been a struggle for him. It's been about 3 or 4 years, but I think he just broke 1.1 million, and he's just moving from there. So really think about, what would it mean for you? Then one of the things I guess I want to recommend, so if you go to a Remodeler's Marketing Crew site, you'll see there's a place to schedule, or you could go directly to this and you can schedule, and we will go through, we'll ask you a few questions. We want to know what's your name of your company, your website, so we can do a full review, and we're going to look at a whole analysis. We'll give you custom keywords. We'll show you where you rank. We'll show you what online directories and citations you're in, what you're not in, what we would recommend, what we would say about your reviews and reputation, social presence. what the effectiveness of your website conversion is. And this, you get all of this, we get back to you, okay? And then if you decide, hey, this is something I want to move forward to, and it seems like we're a good fit, we can work. If not, you still get all of our free information that we would review for you. So I really encourage you to do that as well. And there's the phone number if you want to set something up as well too. This just reorganizes, right? You want to drive leads with organic, paid, and data. That gives you a little bit of a definition. We want to maximize your conversions, websites that convert, reputation, automation, optimize your spending, your cost per lead, and your return on your investment down, right? These are the same thing as on our website. I'll show you all the different things that we do, and again, we can do whatever makes sense for your company. Because lots of times we get on a call with someone, they're like, well, just give me your proposal, just give me your amount. And that's not how we work. We want to understand what your needs are and what your budget is. So it's very important that we get a very personalized, we have recommendations, but we want to make it work for you. So it is important that we do have these conversations with you rather than just cookie cutter thing. This is what you should do. We really want to understand you and your business. Another thing you can get is a resource, and click on that. It's also in your the copy of your plan book is the ultimate internet marketing guide. So you can go through this checklist, and this will say everything. Do I have this on my website? Do I have that on my Google Business Profile? And it'll give you an idea of what you're missing as well. So very useful. So hopefully we've covered everything you're looking for, right? We've talked about clear goals and targets for next year. So you should be clear. This is my revenue. This is my average job. This is the number of leads I need. This is my conversion rate. And so I'm going to need this number of jobs. So I need that many leads. And this is where I'm going to spend my budget. Okay. That we've realigned from that. We've taught you some KPIs, right? Your average cost per lead, your return on investment, right? That you're going to be tracking these things to achieve those. And then we've planned out what you're going to do. We've got your budget down. We've talked about where in that budget. So if it's $5,000 a month, what should be on SEO? What should be on PPP and PPC and so forth? And some trends to look at. And so hopefully from what we've covered here, you're going to have some massive success in 2025 and beyond that. So really right now, we want you to write down your top action items. We're just hitting on an hour here. Write these down because again, so many times I would go to someone and say, have this thing. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I'm just tired. I'm done. But I found when I took the time to write down these and then take that with me and say, okay, now I'm going to go home. These are the action items. What am I going to start on first? It really makes a difference. So take a couple of minutes. If it's not now, right after we sign off, write this down. What are those action items? So let me look here. Is there any questions that have, let me go in the chat. I don't see too many questions in here. We also will be providing to everybody a copy of this. And with that copy, you'll have my email address and a place to schedule. So you can reach out and phone number. So we've got email, phone number, reach out. You can text as well to that phone number because we want to push texting. So I don't see any more questions. So we're just hitting on the hour mark. So we're going to finish up right now. But also, we'll rerun this again because a lot of times people are busy in December. So we'll do it very early in January again. And then look, we'll do monthly webinars that are follow-up that will talk specifically about how to improve your website. So if that's one of the things on your list, get to that one. How to improve your Google Business Profile, how to use AI, how to use automation, how to use PPC. So all of those things will be followed up in future webinars. So stay tuned. And if for any reason you're busy during that time, look, and we'll follow up with the replay for it. And always, as always, reach out if you want. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.